Hi, and welcome to TTELT, Teaching Tips for English Language Teachers, a program of educators worldwide. I'm your host today, Melanie Gobert.
Thank you for joining us today. This is Melanie Gobert, your host for today's episode of TTELT, Teaching Tips for English Language Teachers, a program of educators worldwide. Joining us today is Mohamed Hasan, an assistant professor at Ahlia University located in Bahrain. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Professor Hasan is going to be talking about the importance of identity investment for teachers. Over to you, Mohamed. What do you mean by identity investment?
Thank you very much for this interview. Well, in today's fast-changing world, it is easy for teachers to get caught up in an activity trap, to get busy doing urgent but not necessarily important matters. And so what I argue is that teachers actually cannot sustain change without a fairly unchanging base of who they are and what their goals are, what their values are. This is why identity investment is important. Teachers need to investigate their beliefs, their assumptions, and their biases in teaching. This investigation is never ending, of course. It continues throughout their life. And of course, they're going to go through stages, and during the process, they're going to make major changes. So the ultimate goal, of course, of identity investment is to gain more autonomy, that is control over your job, and to keep the teacher committed to the teaching profession. Right. So so this is basically what I mean by identity investment. It's to question your held beliefs and assumptions and continually update these so that you can sustain change.
So what do you mean when you say adopting identity-based change rather than outcome-based change?
Well, there are actually two systems, we can say. A closed system in which the answers to questions is yes or no. And this is what I mean by outcome-based. Outcome-based meaning you just implement somebody else's agenda or things that are imposed on you in school or at university, and you have no say in what you're doing. An identity-based change can work together with an outcome-based change, but it has to have precedence. So identity-based change means that you, as I said, investigate your beliefs and assumptions and update them. And so the rightness of the answers to your questions are on a continuum. So what is right and workable for you today might not be right and workable for you tomorrow. So you are in a constant pace of change. You actually are open to new ideas, new beliefs, and this keeps you teachable, humble, open, and receptive.
Okay, and how does this contribute to delivering well and exceeding expectations?
Well, these are two actually things that can help you increase your career capital and contribute to your autonomy and commitment. So delivering well means that you, when you are given a task, you do it in the best possible way, and you do it in the shortest time possible. This gives you the reputation of being consistent, and so people around you will trust you and will rely on you, and so that this will also increase your value in the school.
And you talk about career capital. What do you mean by career capital? What is that regarding teachers?
Well, career capital is actually a term I use to refer to the skills, the valuable and rare skills that you develop in teaching. So teachers need to really do their job in the best possible way. They need to acquire skills that help them carry out teaching and deliver it in the best possible way. So this is what I mean by career capital: skills that are rare and valuable, that makes teachers skills that make teachers actually needed, wanted by everyone around them.
Now, for me, what you've been saying so far describes a pretty idealistic episode in the lives of university professors from maybe 20 years ago or even 15 years ago. Nowadays, it seems that teachers at universities, even PhDs, are being ranked as lecturers rather than professors. It seems like the task that teachers are expected to do, professors are expected to do, the administrative task I'm talking about here, are really having a heavy impact on their workload. So how does your theory of identity-based change fit with this external outcome-based performance that all teachers and professors are facing?
Well, you're right. So teachers are facing great challenges, and one of the challenges is that they have too much in their plate. Their plate is full, and this is the importance of creating a system, an open system to deal with these never-ending tasks, so that you have a way of dealing with emails, a way of dealing with other colleagues at the university, so that you focus on the things you like. The ultimate goal is autonomy, control over what you do, right? And autonomy is actually the concept or the part of identity that will help you advance in your career. Because you will not, when you have this career capital, you can ask for advantages because you have valuable skills, you have talents. Then it's difficult for others to refuse your requests. You can ask for an unpaid leave to continue your studies, for example. You can ask for a salary raise. You can ask for another position. You can leave the organization and find a job that fits your qualifications. So autonomy is the key here.
I think this is a really good point that you're trying to make, and I want to bring into it also what you just mentioned, the fact that not only teachers, but many teachers, many educators are leaving the field because basically teacher burnout.
That's right. So burnout is the I can say the result of not having a clear system. It's the result of acting with an outcome-based change, depending on what others dictate on you. But if you adopt an identity-based change, if you are aware of who you are or what your goals are, what your values are, then it's unlikely that you'll burn out, because you're acting here with things that you really love. You focus on the things that you really love, and you have a system to deal with things that are less important. And so this is the point I'm trying to make here.
Well said, well spoken. I'd like to thank you, Dr. Hasan, for joining us today for TTELT, Teaching Tips for English Language Teachers, a program of educators worldwide. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And this has been your host for today's episode, Melanie Gobert. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. Share with us how you are using these tips. Leave us a comment or voice message on social media or at ttelt.org. Thanks for joining this episode of TTELT, brought to you by Educators Worldwide. Follow, like, and subscribe to TTELT on your social media, and try a new teaching tip today.